Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I wrote down a bunch of stuff on this paper, uh, scribbled all over the place, trying to tell you guys about the stuff that happened overnight and the things that maybe I didn't talk about free agency yesterday. So let's get into it. Um, at absolute random, I'll give you what I see here. So we're talking about Malik Beasley to start. He does have suitors other than the Lakers that will be interested in his services. The Sixers, Suns, Raptors, Mavericks, Bucks, and Golden State all have interest in the young shooter. He's not that young, probably like 29, 28. But yeah, I think Malik Beasley's going to help a lot of teams. You know, I want the Lakers to bring him back on a minimum deal, but it looks like due to this list of people that are interested in him, that ain't going to be something he probably wants to do to get himself the most money. Uh, just looking at the teams here, I don't think any of these teams would be that bad. I'd probably try to stay away from Golden State, only because they have so much shooting that you probably ain't gonna get on the floor as much as you think. The Mavericks, I think they're always looking for shooters. Given the fact they got Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, it's kind of guard heavy, but I still think the role will be there. They did sign uh, Curry, Seth Curry, but they still got Tim Hardaway, as we talked about yesterday, but they did get rid of some of their shooters. So I think that they could be in store for another shooter, but I also think there could be some playing time issues there. The Raptors, they need a point guard, I think. And they drafted Grady. They picked up Schroeder. But I don't think that's the answer at point guard. And I'm hopeful Schroeder turns it around, maybe turns himself to a whole all-star, but I just don't think that's who he really actually is. I think he is truly a backup who's more than capable of doing more. Sort of like your Tyus Joneses of the world, TJ McConnell's. I was calling him Mitch McConnell. TJ McConnell, those type of guys. I think Schroeder's in that lane to where you know damn well he can do more, but you're probably best not for asking him to do so. So that's what I think of Schroeder, and because of it, I think the Raptors could be a decent spot for Beasley to get some guard minutes now that they've reimagined their guard rotation with Fred signing with the Rockets for 3 years. And so that's an interesting spot. And you talk about the Suns, that would be the spot I'd tell him to go to if he doesn't want to turn to my Lakers, because they need a little bit of everything. And even though they also have plenty of guards eating up a lot of minutes, I still think the role for him to have a real role on the Suns is a thing, especially if they start having injury issues, which I think if they don't strengthen that bench hard enough, strong enough, they will. Beasley will help with that. He's yet another guy that can come in, play 15, 20 minutes so that Booker can sit down, so that Beal can sit down. You know what I mean? So I think the more of that they have, the more high-quality talent they have, the better. And they need guys like Malik Beasley to choose them, honest to gosh. And I really think that if they were to land Malik Beasley, that'd be huge for them. Absolutely massive. And the 76ers, again, teams that have lost some of what it is that made them who they were. We're expecting James Harden to be gone very soon, so whoever they get back in trade will determine probably how much of what they have they'll need. Beasley they'll need, rather. Tyrese Maxey's being rumored to be thrown into certain trades. I'm hearing mixed stuff about whether or not they are interested in allowing him to stay. I don't know that they want to pay him his contract. All of this looks weird to me if I'm Joel Embiid. All of this looks weird. You brought me James Harden. You brought me Jimmy Butler. You got rid of Ben Simmons. It's just a bunch of stuff that ain't never looked like it's good enough to get me where I'm trying to go. And I don't know how best to build around Joel Embiid, but I can't imagine that Philadelphia is the hardest place to find talent. They wrap themselves up in contracts like Tobias Harris and ain't really moving in the direction that makes it make any sense. I just don't really like where Philly's at. And I think Joel Embiid's too great of a player to say, okay, let's crash everything and rebuild. So they're just in no man's land. They're in no man's land. I don't particularly think that's the easiest team to build around so long as they're kind of married to what it is they're doing. Now, they've brought in a new coach in Nick Nurse, and I'm interested to see how he's able to utilize what it is that he does, which is, from what I understand, a very unique offense, how that's going to work with Joel. But as far as where the Sixers are as a team, I honestly want them to rebuild. Not letting go of Joel, but letting go of just about everything else. Tyrese Maxey is a player I would likely want to keep, but I don't know if he's the answer at point guard for Joel Embiid. You see what I'm saying? Like, I like Tyrese Maxey for about 28 teams in this league. But the Philadelphia 76ers, for how they're constructed, coupled with having to pay Maxey at some point very soon, and then having Joel's contract. I don't think I love them two contracts trying to build everything else. I don't think I love Maxey that much as a point guard. I like him that much as a budding star who could play point guard and shooting guard. Like I said, in most situations, including my very own Lakers, I would welcome Tyrese Maxey quickly. But for the Philly Sixers, for where they've been and what they're doing, I think I need a bigger star at the point guard. I think I need a taller player at the point guard. I think I need somebody who's meant to run with Joel Embiid, a pass-first entity type of guy. I don't know who fits that bill. I don't have any idea, but I don't think Tyrese is the guy. That's what I'm here to tell you. I think Tyrese is more of a scoring guard than what I would have imagined for that team. He's shorter, and he's too offensive scoring dominant for me at that particular role. I want to replace him with God knows who. Somebody tall, point guard tall. Giddy or something. I don't know if that's necessarily what I want to do, but that's where my head goes. I want a tall point guard next to Joel Embiid that can be his legitimate running mate. And I don't know who that is. Hell, I don't know. I don't know what the fit would be. I don't know what the spacing would look like, but I want somebody pass first, high level. Don't know who that is. So that's what I'm telling you. But in the meantime, to get back on track, we're talking about Malik Beasley. Do I want Malik Beasley to go to the Sixers? I think the minutes may be there for him. The minutes will be there. So that's also a very good suitor for him. If he doesn't want to go to the Suns, I think the Sixers is probably the second best spot, because to be honest with you, they need to reimagine everything. And I have a feeling they're probably going to do that with either Malik Beasley on tab or probably use Malik Beasley to trade to get that done, whatever the case may be. I think he gets featured there more so than he gets featured with Golden State or the Mavericks. I think so. I think the Bucks also, we didn't talk about the Bucks, but I think the Bucks are just, they probably have a real role for Malik Beasley because they didn't have much of a bench last year. They lost a guy or two. So I think that them bringing Malik Beasley to their team could ultimately be a major, major plus. The problem is, I don't really think they're a contender right now. I think Middleton's coming back, a lesser guy, even though he took less money to come back, which will help. 1 year older with Drew Holiday. I'm pretty sure he's still going to be at a high level, but I don't think he's getting any younger. I don't know if I love how some of their role players are coming along. I don't think they got enough of them. So Malik Beasley would help with that. So I just don't think the Bucks really evaluate talent very well. To be honest with you, over the last couple of years, I think they've done a bunch of stuff that just didn't speak to them having real imagination for building a team, not really understanding how best to find the best talent in this era. They're just kind of throwing money at people, sort of like Cleveland, sort of like Houston. They're not really doing much homework, it seems to me. So I would consider the Bucks because I think they need someone to jump in and just be better than they're expected to be. And if I'm Beasley, with the year that I had last year, that's exactly what I'm coming in to do. I don't think I'm shooting 20% from behind the arc. You know what I mean? Malik Beasley, I don't think that. Coming into this season, I'm pretty sure he has a bounce back year to some degree. Because if he shoots like he did last year, he ain't gonna be able to come back into the league in 24, 25. So this might be his last stance in general, and I think his next move needs to be his best move in regards to what team he chooses. So I would love to have him back as a Laker, but I don't think this is not the best spot for him based on what it is that I'm seeing here with those teams. So 10 minutes on Beasley. Y'all know I'm a real NBA fan. All right. Next up, the next thing I see on this list is Dame Lillard's new suitors. And they ain't new suitors. It's just one new team on here. It's the Utah Jazz. The other two teams, well, the Clippers, I didn't think the Clippers really going after Dame, but they're on this list. And the Philadelphia 76ers, we know, have been looking for Dame. I think that's better. That's better. If I'm being real with y'all, I think I like Dame better than Tyrese Maxey in Philly. I think I do. I don't know. And the thing I have a question about is either one of them play any defense. I don't think Maxey's a defensive player. I don't think so. I've never seen him do anything defensively that makes me go crazy. Dame ain't the offensive player, but Dame is a taller player. Dame is more of a win-now talent. Dame is for sure going to get you through the Eastern Conference. If he got a center like Joel Embiid next to him, he going to the finals. So I think that's a no-brainer. Depending on what else they give up. See, this is the thing about Philly. Do I like Nick Nurse and Dame Lillard? I don't know. Dame Lillard, Joel Embiid, Nick Nurse, and they still got Tobias Harris contract on there. And Tobias Harris, the player's like, if I get rid of him, am I good enough to win? If I keep him, am I good enough to build anything that can win? That's the problem with Tobias Harris. He's too good to trade based on what it is you need, and unless you can replace him with something that fits what it is that he does, you're going to still need his piece. Trying to trade him for like Mikal Bridges or something. low key. But see, the problem is, Mikal Bridges would probably rather go to any team but the Philadelphia 76ers for what they did to him and his mom on draft night, for which we'll never let them forget. But that's the type of player they need to replace Tobias Harris with. They need an upgrade who's going to play every game, defensive-minded, hit open shots. That's Mikal Bridges, the guy they should have never traded in the first damn place. Yet another reason why Joel Embiid needs to get the hell out of there. So, yeah, if I'm Joel Embiid, low-key, I'm just waiting for my free agency to come around. I don't know if I'm demanding a trade because that's just a headache for everybody. But I don't think I'm re-ing up with Philly, man. I don't think I'm coming back to y'all. I ain't heard nobody say that. You know, this is just coming out of my head. But as I look at the moves the Philadelphia 76ers have made ever since he was drafted there, his initial look on his face when he was drafted was exactly what his future was going to be. Remember that look on his face? It was going to be as bad as he thought it was going to be. It's fast forward 10 years. It's been that bad, man. So if I were him, I would not stay there my entire career. Loyalty is a thing, but if you look at what's going on with Dame, nobody rewards loyalty. They're looking at what you can bring to this year right now. And if you're getting paid too much and can't do it, we want you out. Loyalty be damned. So if I'm Joel, I still got MVP caliber talent left in me. I just came off my first MVP. I don't think I really want to play for the Philadelphia 76ers for much longer than this season. I'm going to come in and play this season. But if I'm a free agent coming up, bro, I'm talking to every team not named the Sixers, and I'm getting the hell out of there. You know, they let Daryl Morey and James Harden hijack the team for a year, didn't do nothing. Year before that, they were holding on to players they had no business holding on to in situations, didn't do nothing. Year before that, it was the Ben Simmons debacle. They couldn't get rid of him, played him down to a value that wasn't worth nothing. He ended up going through his mental health stuff, ended up being at odds with the team, wasted a whole year of mine. If I'm Joel Embiid, came to nothing. It's just a bunch of every single damn year, them making the wrong decisions and it panning out to be absolutely and utterly nothing. So if I'm Dame, I don't want to go to Philly. But if I'm Joel, that may be the only thing that keeps me in Philly. So that's what I want to say. I don't think Dame ends up in Philly. There's other teams that are going to have better trade packages. The same thing I said about the Miami Heat. They don't have the best trade package. In fact, they got the worst. Clippers don't have the best trade package at all. Utah, San Antonio, those are two realistic spots for Dame and James Harden if they just don't force their way to anywhere else. That's the teams that come to mind first that should win the trade sweepstakes with anybody else. The Clippers, nah. Philly, nah. But Utah and San Antonio, these $50, $60 million contract dudes, that is who's going to be able to win the battle to get you. And to be honest with you, you shouldn't be too unhappy to go to either one of those spaces if you're either one of those players. Because to be honest with you, they need a point guard. Both of those teams need a point guard, and they got everything else, including flexibility, so long as they don't give it up to get you. So that's what I would tell Dame Lillard. Don't poo-poo Utah. You probably win your first championship going there. While some of these other places you want to go, like Miami, ain't nowhere near a championship if you take your contract and put it on their books. No. So that's what I would tell him, man. Don't close your mind to the Riverwalk. You're going to be playing with Wemby. That's the best rim protector in the game already. Sorry, Dame. Sorry, AD. It's Wemby, and we know it. The 7'5" with the 8-foot wingspan, that's the best rim protector in basketball. So with that being said, Dame wants to play with a rim protector. From what I understand, it was something being said about him going to Miami. Probably not going to be the best fit because even though Bam's a defensive player, he's not exactly a natural rim protector at 6'8". I agree with that. I don't think that's the best place for Dame. I don't think that's the best place for anybody who's looking to have rim protection. And he's been dealing with Nurkic, Watford. Those guys can block a couple shots here and there. I would love to see Dame in a situation where rim protection's in place, just like what Donovan Mitchell's able to enjoy in Cleveland. That's where Dame needs to be, a type of situation like that, where the rim protection is real. It's another reason why I like him going to the Sixers or the Bucks, because the rim protection will be real. And he won't be asked to do much defensively. So Orlando wouldn't be the worst place for Dame Lillard, even though the timeline is off and they got a bunch of young kids. The point is they got all kinds of 7-footers. If they trade away all their guards and bring them Dame Lillard, he will bring them into contention with Paolo, with Franz, with Carter, if they don't have to give all those people up. So Dame ain't thinking about Orlando, but he should be, because they got that cap space to bring him in. They got the young talent to get rid of while still having enough young talent to hold on to and still being good of a team. So these are the type of things, it's like if these players know what the hell they're talking about, they're going to look at other situations, not just the city they want to live in. You can live in Miami. You're a billionaire, bro. You can live in Miami and do whatever it is you want to do. Just hop on a jet every day. If I'm Dame Lillard, I'm not letting me not playing in the NBA keep me from living in a happy city if I want to live there. Hell no. No, I'm gonna live there. So that's what I gotta say to Dame. I know he wants to go play in Miami, but they don't have anything to offer to get you. And when you get there, they're not gonna have enough to get you to the championship. You're gonna be better staying in Portland at home, playing next to Scoot, because you're gonna be losing the same damn games. So that's just what I want to tell Dame. I don't think he's gonna be able to overcome the I'm the man in Portland energy, taking it to somebody else's team too. He go to Philly, that ain't gonna work. Go to Milwaukee, I think it'll work because Giannis is one of the most humble. But yeah, I'd like to see him in Denver with Jokic, even though nobody's breaking up what they have. Those are the type of superstars I think will welcome him in. Bron probably would welcome him in, but I think Dame got his idea about playing with Bron. He don't want to do that. My vibes. I'm not taking that from anything I've known. That's just my vibes. I don't think he want to do that. So, some of these teams that Dame is interested in, the Miami Heat, nah. What was the other team he said he wanted to go to? San Antonio. I like that for him, of course. There was another team too. So the only team that I think he really should probably stay away from is the number one team on his list, and that's the Miami Heat. Because they ain't gonna have nothing when you get there, man. They're gonna deplete themselves of everything. It's just gonna be you, Bam, and Jimmy, and I'm telling you, that is not enough at all. So that's what I want to say in regards to that. And I don't think they're going to be able to make a trade to bring him enough after acquiring him. They're not going to even have the value after that unless they move Jimmy or Bam. So that's what you're signing up if you go there. Dame, that's what you're signing up for. All right, let's move on. There's so much stuff to talk about. The Nets want 2 first-round picks for Royce O'Neal and 2 first-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith. See, they traded a first-round pick for Royce O'Neal. Now they stupidly think other people are going to be dumb enough to give them 2 first-round picks for Royce O'Neal. No. That's not how this works. See, you were the only team dumb enough to trade a first-round pick for Royce O'Neal. No one's going to give you 1 first-round pick for Royce O'Neal. So you know damn well you ain't getting 2 first-round picks for Royce O'Neal, Josiah. Not happening. And Dorian Finney-Smith, no different. No different. Nobody's giving you more than what you paid for something you should not have paid that for. That's like the Timberwolves turning around and saying, okay, we want 9 picks for Rudy Gobert. Like, I'm sure you do, because you gave up 7 to get him. But guess what? Nobody else is dumb enough to do that. Sorry. Don't be dumb. All right, so good news for the Kings. They brought back Sabonis, $217 million, 5-year deal. That's hefty for Sabonis, but I like Sabonis. I wasn't on board with trading what's his face, Halliburton for Sabonis. But if you look at what Halliburton went for the same amount. So these are two $200 million players that were traded for one another. And when you consider how it ultimately panned out, it's okay because the Sacramento Kings are better than they've ever been. And the Pacers have their point guard of the future. Now, would I have done that? Probably not. I would have probably held on to Halliburton, but I don't think you could get rid of Fox since he was already on contract. Halliburton was still on a rookie contract when they traded him. And that's why he just got the 206 that he got right now, or 260. That's another thing. Those contracts are, if they get MVP, if they get all kinds of stuff, the 260 contracts, the rookie max deals, they're actually 206. But if they reach all of their highest peaks and points, it can go up to 260. So that's Melo, that's Halliburton, that's, I believe, I don't think that's Sabonis because he's not on a rookie contract, max contract. But any one of these guys that you see that are rookies that are getting this big $260 million deal, it's more like 206 without the perks, which is crazy great money, obviously. And Sabonis with 217, 5-year deal. Again, we look at these 5-year deals. That's a new thing that they got on this collective bargaining agreement. I think it's a mistake. 4-year deals, 3-year deals, 2-year deals, 1-year deal is all the NBA needs. We've been through this. This is why it's like, yo, you're letting new people and young heads who haven't learned old lessons create the new path for the new NBA. We've already learned this lesson. 5-year deals and 7-year deals are trash. We know the wisdom behind not giving them to them. Why do you do this? Why do you guys not learn from the past mistakes? Study the early 2000s, and 5-year deals always turn out trash. Bro, we've learned this lesson before. What's wrong with y'all? Anyway, Dante Exum to the Mavericks. He's been out of the league for 2 years. I like Dante Exum. He just run into some bad injury issues. I hope he's able to get on his feet with the Mavericks because that's a really solid team. Going to be playing with Luka the Don, playing with Kyrie Irving. I know Exum at his best is an extremely fast driver of the basketball. Injuries have probably taken that from him, so I don't know what he has right now. But that's who he was when he was drafted. And he was somebody I wanted the Lakers to draft because I thought he was going to be somebody. Luckily, we kind of took a different direction. He didn't pan out. But I still think that there is a role for Dante Exum to play basketball in the NBA. And I think he's a guy who's Lonzo Ball should kind of take a look at because it's their path and their trajectory kind of going the same way. Injuries just rob them of everything, but you can find a way to stay in the league if you get healthy, do your work, and just stay true to what it is the path is. You can get back in this league, and so that's who Dante Exum I think should be inspiring is Lonzo Ball because Exum's been out for a while, but Exum from this point can build his way into the league and go forward and still be an NBA player for the rest of his career. I feel the same way about Chris Dunn. What I saw from him from Utah last year tells me he should be in the league from here on out. He shouldn't be overseas no more. All that's over with. Bring him back to the league. So I'm happy to see Dante Exum back in, and hopefully he can stick around from here on out. Think of a guy like Grant Hill. Guys find a way after injury to extend their career. Hopefully that works for Dante. Okay, JC's headed back to the Jazz. Jordan Clarkson, $55 million, 3-year deal, $18 a year for JC. That's on par with the value you expect for him to receive. That's a good, no, not necessarily an overpay, but definitely the maximum of what I feel comfortable paying him. Yeah, that's what you want. He's really, really solid. Not quite an all-star, but certainly somebody who can win a sixth man of the year. I think he's already won it, so you can get it again. And you just love this Jazz team in regards to the offensive talent they're going to be able to throw out there. I already know that they are one of the best offensive teams in basketball. Top 5, easily. They could drop 150 points on you last year before they acquired all that they did. And they acquired a lot. And so bringing back JC is a big deal. My only concern is all this money you're paying all these people, and none of these people are pure point guards, fam. None of them. Keontae George and JC, because of those players now being on the same team, JC's value or his role ain't the same. So you're paying him to have the same role, but it's not going to be the same role. And that's the problem. The team like a Jazz has to understand that. It's a good contract so long as you move it right now to a place where he's going to have that same role. You are going to play that role down in theory once other guys like Dunn, like Keontae George, like Colin Sexton, Agbaji. Okay, you seeing all these guards they got? So it's like none of these people are setting others up. None of these people are pass first guards. None of them. And so I don't necessarily love JC going back to the Jazz because I'm still investing in all these damn guards, including Keontae George, who we know is going to surpass him. It's not even a question. Keontae George is going to get on the floor, and he's going to take some of JC's minutes doing the same thing JC does, not getting anybody else involved but himself. And that, my friends, is not going to make for the best offensive continuity piece that the Utah Jazz need. So I love JC. I like him at this price. I'm looking to move him somewhere else immediately for a pure actual pass first point guard for which they don't have anywhere on their roster. Nobody to do that. And that is ultimately what caps off the Jazz's upside. You got all this damn offensive talent and nobody playing the Steve Nash role. So they need to find that. JC ain't that. All right. Alex Len is headed back to the Kings on a 1-year deal, $3.2 million. Just another boostering of their center position. They did lose some centers, but they also signed a center from overseas, if I'm not mistaken, to a nice little 3-year deal. So they're just continuing to keep their mentality of being overly deep. They have like 30 players on their roster. They use them all. So Alex Len is just one of them. Orlando Robinson's headed back to the Heat. Role player Orlando Robinson. I'm not really familiar too much with him other than his name's been on the Heat for a long time. Is another one of the players they just haven't developed at all. The Heat, low-key, are not the greatest team for developing talent. They're not. They're good for finding guys off the street and bringing them in to overachieve. And they play well because they're already good and nobody knows who they are. They find them dudes. But as far as dudes who are raw, who need to develop and be better, they're not the greatest. They're not the worst, but they're not of the upper echelon of teams. I say, yo, young prospect goes there, he going to turn into something. I think Miami has that reputation. I think it's overstated, to be honest. This is an example right here. Orlando Robinson, has he ever gotten off the ground? I don't even know who he is. He's been in the league for 5 years, ain't done nothing with the Heat. They need to develop him better or get him gone. And they have a couple players on their roster like that. So I don't know where the Heat are headed. Maybe they get Dame and they're top heavy, but I don't see them doing. They're not getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals, if you ask me. Ibu Badje, signed a two-way with the Portland Trailblazers. I'm not familiar, but I wrote it down. And what else is on this list? Last but not least, I want to report on the trade that happened yesterday that I forgot to report on. When the Heat allowed Max Strus to go to the Cavs, they roped in the San Antonio Spurs, and the Cavs sent the Spurs Cedi Osman, Lamar Stevens, and a second-round pick. And the Heat get a second-rounder for their troubles. And, yeah, that's how that went. So the key to all that is Cedi Osman is going to be joining Wembanyama in San Antonio. And that speaks to me the idea that they're ready to shift into a win-now situation. Because you don't bring an NBA champion, Cedi Osman, who's only played for one team his entire career, the Cleveland Cavaliers, for him not to be absolutely intent on helping you win. He is a veteran in that locker room, and they don't have many championship experience. So that is the key to that for them. Lamar Stevens, another guy, didn't develop in the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland doesn't develop talent. I think he'll probably have, if he has any opportunity at all, he'll definitely get it with Popovich next to Wembanyama. So that's pretty much what I wrote down. That's everything that I wrote down on my list here of things to pay attention to that I didn't get a chance to speak about yesterday. Of course, we're still waiting for the Dame trade, James Harden trade. There's a few other names out there that have yet to be signed. So we're waiting to see if those guys sign. I'm trying to see if I find my sheet of paper where I wrote all that down. I think I got it here. Are the names that have yet to be signed. Yeah, Miles Bridges still out there. P.J. Washington still out there. Christian Wood is still out there. Clarkson and DiVincenzo have since been signed since I last told you that. With Clarkson, of course, Jazz, and DiVincenzo, of course, with the Knicks on a really questionable deal unless they shake around some of those guards of whom they probably should not be looking to shake around in order to make room for Dante DiVincenzo. The Knicks did something really corny, you guys. They did. They want to put all the Villanova guards together. The problem is they're all guards. You can only have two of them on the floor at the same time, and it ain't going to be two of them on the floor at the same time. Why? Because y'all got Brunson. Well, he's one of them. But that's the point. It's like, you got Brunson, you got Dante, you got Hart, you got Grimes, you got Quickly. It's like, what did it? First of all, Quickly should be a starting point guard. All of this stuff should be getting the hell out of here, except for Brunson, so that Quickly can step up and become the all-star that we all know he is. Are you going to trade him for 2 second-round picks like you did Obi Toppin? Morons. Like, somebody need to just say it like that. Because that's just moronic. There's nothing wise about trading Obi Toppin to the damn Pacers for 2 second-round picks. Nothing wise about that. There's nothing good about that. You're not doing anything for yourself. Nothing good comes of that. If you're trying to create cap space, there are other ways to do it. If you're trying to shave off young talent that you don't want to pay big money to, there are other ways to do it. Giving them away for 2 second-round picks is a easy, brainless, mindless, simple way to dissolve value of talent that you did not develop. Essentially, it's like you saying, I'm not willing to wait this kid out in regards to his development. So the going rate within this collective bargaining agreement for those circumstances for us teams who don't want to develop talent is 2 second-round picks. Because you're seeing it everywhere, so clearly it's like a thing. You know what I mean? Just like the 5-year deals. If we have a young, underdeveloped guy like Josh Christopher, if I just need to get him off my team, it's going to cost the other team 2 picks. And they're just going around doing this stupid crap like this actually makes sense. This don't make no damn sense. What you're doing is trading away young talent for a fraction of what it is they're going to balloon to. That's all you're doing. You're not doing anything special. That's not an easy way to make things work. That's a stupid way of making things work. That's an easy way to make sure that your competitors are richer than you. Dummies. The Houston Rockets idiots. I'm hearing people all over the NBA sphere saying, look at the Rockets putting something together. They ain't putting nothing together, fool. These are names. That's why they look like they're good to you, because these are people you've heard of for the last 10 years. You know what that means? That means we're running around for 10 years on them same legs, and they ain't going to have as much this year to do any of that. Talking about Jeff Green. Jeff Green should be retired. What are we talking about? Patty Mills. Retired. You can't trade these guys for a bag of chips, and you're talking about these is good moves. These ain't good moves. They gave away good players that haven't been developed yet for 2 picks so they can bring in guys that can't do. You know the rhyme? It is what it is. Jeff Green is a name. Jeff Green was dunking on people 15 years ago. How in the hell is he a better prospect for you than a young player that you just drafted 2 years ago? Because you're too lazy to develop him, to get the most out of him, so you're going to give him to one of your competitors and bring in Jeff Green, who's going to be gone in 6 months. Like, it's just like, And people are celebrating this nonsense like it makes sense. It's like, yo, I'm ahead of all of y'all. It feels like, and I'm frustrated because I'm watching people in the Stone Ages throwing the rocks around at each other. It's like, yo, learn what it is I'm here to tell you. All of this that you're doing is backwards. It's going to lead you to the opposite way you want to go. Keep the young players, develop them properly, and let the Jay Crowders and all these the Dwight Powells, let them go to the big three, fam. Let them go where they belong. They're no longer NBA players. Stop this nonsense. A lot of these dudes that y'all know of, that y'all happy about being signed, that have been around for 10 years, actually should not be in the league anymore, fam. That's the reality of these good vets. No, they're not good vets. They can barely ball in this league. 82 game schedule, fam. They're not doing nothing for you. 82 games. I'm trying to get this into people's heads. Because if you've been running around for 17 years doing 82 game schedules plus playoffs, believe you me, you don't have a whole lot left. I don't give a damn what the agent that you've hired to represent you is telling the owner. You ain't got nothing left, and you know it. So enough of this. Get these dudes out of the NBA, fam. No more. No more of these guys. Know damn well they ain't got nothing left. They know they ain't got nothing left. People like me, the 1% of us know they ain't got nothing left, but they fooling everybody in the NBA sphere, including a lot of these owners, with their names. And the laziness of these owners to not hire developers to help you so that you can have the talent that these guys are going to turn into several years from now. To think you've watched the Lakers do this. Look at all the players the Lakers have let go. They're all over the league. And you think a team like Houston would understand why they shouldn't do this. A team like New York should understand why they shouldn't do this. But they don't. So the talent that they draft that's supposed to be blessing their team, their fan base for 15 years as a real super team with deep players that are all going to reach superstar status, they end up all over the league because of idiot owners who just want Jeff Green and want Patty Mills because they've heard of Patty Mills and remember him hitting shots for the Spurs 8 damn years ago. Enough. It's all garbage. And so that's what I want to say, man. I think that needs to be said at least once a day. I'm looking at Russell Westbrook. I don't see him as part of that. Why? Because Russell Westbrook is built different. He's going to play all 82 of them games. Whether he's playing well or not, he's going to be down there every game. So I would never say he's a part of that. Not when I saw from him what I saw in the playoffs with the Clippers. Nah. He's not a part of that. If you can still do it, you can still do it. But Chris Paul at like $30 million in 2023? Warriors. I'm looking at what the Warriors doing, and I'm telling y'all, I don't think the team going to be good this year. It ain't going to be no good. You got Chris Paul on a $30 million contract. You bring a rookie power forward. You bring back Draymond Green on a $100 million contract. Y'all know damn well Draymond Green is a good player, but he ain't no $25 million for you. You let JP go after paying him $1 trillion. I have a problem with that. He probably needs to go. You let Baldwin go. That should have never happened. You let Wiseman go. That should have never happened. And you bringing in, what you bringing in? Just, I don't think it was nothing really exciting that I saw them bring in. I wish I had it written down on this sheet, maybe the other one. But I'm telling you, they ain't do nothing. They did nothing to make themselves that much better, man. The Golden State Warriors have been quiet, and they don't have enough to be quiet, to be honest with you. They don't have enough talent on their bench to not be making moves right now. Yeah, Draymond Green is 176 years old. You just gave him a 4th-year cap. Yeah, it's just a bunch of stuff in Golden State that is fluff right now. It's a lot of talking about guys doing what they used to do. But what they're going to do is a whole lot of nothing. And I'm letting you know that early. Golden State Warriors are going to go as far as Steph Curry take them. If he's an MVP, hitting 50 points a game, that's what they are this year. But all that depth, all that good stuff that makes the Golden State Warriors what they used to be, that stuff is either not there no more or aging by the second. So I'm telling y'all, I don't expect the Golden State Warriors. I will be surprised if the Golden State Warriors are the AFC. I'll be very surprised. I just don't think they have much of nothing on paper right now, other than what it is they've always had, which has been running to the ground. Dude's been in the league for 100 years. They're tired. A bunch of trash up there, I'm telling y'all. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and a bunch of trash. Just being honest. It is what it is. So, I don't know, man. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with none of these teams, bro. I swear to God, I'm not impressed with none of them. The Lakers have impressed me, and I just so happen to be a fan. Everybody else, most of y'all ain't doing nothing, man. I like what the Suns did after making their 3-star situation happened, everything they've done after that has been really good based on what it is they can do. Within the parameters of what it is they're doing, the Suns are kicking butt. I gotta tell y'all, they're doing as good as anybody right now. Some of this stuff, man, is trash. Cavaliers, garbage. New York, man, bad. Boston's okay. I like Boston getting Porzingis, but if they about to play Jaylen Brown $260 million, about to hate that. Chicago, trash. Look at these teams, they garbage, bro. The Nuggets took steps backwards in a major way. I like what the Pacers did, even though I would have never overpaid for Bruce Brown. I understand that's a one-year deal. And if that's the case, he still will be eligible for that bump up that we were telling you about. So the Pacers are idiots for paying him $24 million for 1 year. That's stupid. But I thought that deal was more than 1 or 2. Maybe they had a team option on the second year or something like that. Maybe that's why that turns out to be 1 year deal. But just to take him away from the champs, thanks, Indy, but he ain't going to do nothing for you like that. You got a bunch of guards to play. So why would you need Bruce Brown? Like, you got nothing but guards in your rotation, but you just want to make yourself good enough to be a playoff team, right? This is the type of stuff. It's like, this is why you never get good enough, because you're quick to throw away money to talent that's going to have you stuck. And while that's not necessarily the case for Bruce Brown, it's just in general the type of thing that just doesn't really make sense unless you can trade Bruce Brown for something that brings you back more value. So maybe they're on path with that. Getting Obi Toppin for 2 second-round picks is a win. It's a win. They move on from Amari Brissett. He goes to the Celtics, so that's the role Toppin will likely play. Sticks is in there somewhere. I'd probably trade him before he really loses value, stuck behind Walker and Toppin, because that's exactly how that pecking order is likely going to be. You want to keep, what's his name? The center that y'all got, Miles Turner, that y'all don't want to trade to the Lakers. Miles Turner is a hell of a legend for the Pacers at this point, but they really have never done anything with him, and I'm wondering if his value isn't something that they should probably be looking to capitalize on now. He ain't going to be increasing the value from here. He ain't getting no better. There's no upside from here. He's going to still block the same shots, pull down the same boards, hit the same threes. Should you not be looking to upgrade him into someone who's going to have more upside to align with Mathurin, Walker, Nembhard, Halliburton, and the age that these guys are, Toppin, the age that you have of this team. Instead of bringing in Bruce Brown for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, why don't you just trade those three to the Rockets for Jabari Smith? You know what I'm saying? That's not Jabari Smith, maybe not because they don't need a power forward, but something else. You know, that's the type of move they need to make. I obviously wouldn't be giving you Sengun, but I'd try. You know what I'm saying? If I'm making a move with the Rockets to get their center, of course you want Sengun. But the point is, that's the kind of move I would be looking to make if I'm the Pacers. I don't need Miles Turner. We're not good enough to make him happy. We're not good enough to make the guys that we brought in to be champions happy. We ain't win no championship with this roster. Like, why are we doing anything win now? Everything should be about development of players and turning them into better developing players to turn them into great developing players. That's the only thing the Pacers need to be doing. Everything else is signing free agents for what? So you can be a 5th seed? Maybe make the 4th seed? Oh, what the hell? We know you're not going to do that, though. We know you're going to fall out of the play-in tournament just like you do every year. And why? It's because you got Miles Turner eating up a half of your cap when you're not developing the players around him to make him good enough worth the crap. You're going to be stuck in no man's land forever, Pacers, so long as you keep doing this Bruce Brown type stuff. As long as you keep being devoted to guys that ain't never really got you nowhere. Buddy Hield. What the hell? Like, where are we going with this? The future is Walker, Nembhard, Halliburton. That is what it really is. If you ask me, Mathurin, they got something good going on there. But they got to stop looking to bring in assets that are just going to kind of bring them to a certain ceiling where they're not good enough to really do anything, but not bad enough to get the best picks. You know what I'm saying? This is why you're not bad enough to get them picks, because you keep on holding on to guys like Turner. If you get Turner off of your team, you'll be good enough to get Wembanyama. But you'll have none of that, will you, Pacers? Irritated with these small market Eastern Conference teams that barely develop players, draft the hell out of players, but they do nothing when they get there. Want to trade for vets. It's just a bunch of stuff that's going to keep you only being good enough to be a team that ain't good enough so that your team ultimately gets moved to another city or something like that. It's just like, yo, it's not that you're a small market that nobody wants to go to you. It's that you do stuff like this while being a small market that nobody goes to you. If you have a good team, guys will go to you. If you know what the hell you're doing, guys will want to be there. Anyway, that's what I got to say about that. Pacers, step your game up, man. Shave off all that contract nonsense that's going to keep you here so that you can either go down there and get that first pick or get up here and get that championship. But if you're not aiming for either, you're just being the Pacers you've always been. Never good enough, never going anywhere. Sorry. Thanks for 2000, by the way. Laker fan. Got you. So that's what I got to say, man. I talk to the ops like that, man, because at the end of the day, I'm a Laker fan, and we're running laps around these people. And it shouldn't necessarily be surprising to me because we have learned some of the lessons that all of these teams are about to learn by doing everything the wrong way that they're hell-bent on doing and not learning from us in doing. So, happy hunting to all of y'all, but it feels good to be on this side because everybody else seems to be just throwing money away, and I don't think it's going to lead them to nowhere good. I really don't. I think all these teams are going to probably fall short. And the sad thing is I think they know that because the moves they made on paper are not meant to win them anything. It's just meant to make it look like they are good enough to compete so that people will keep coming into these seats and sit down, watch these games. But the reality is it's only one team that's even going to win the championship. So a lot of these teams know that and don't aim for good enough to be champions, which is also something that makes them not worthy of being the owners of the teams that they are. They should be out of the league if they're not striving for being as good as they need to be, and they're just comfortable with just writing this off every year. And they're like the Washington Wizards, we're going to be bad, we want to be bad. Like Chicago, like we're going to be mediocre and you're going to pay for it. Yeah, nah, those are the owners that need to go. They need to go. And bring in competitive owners that are ready to play the game the right way, ready to build teams properly and provide an ability to develop talent so that we can have a real league out here. Instead of whatever it is that we're talking about with all these names flying around, Caris LeVert getting $32 million, it's stupid stuff. That's dumb stuff. I'm sorry. This is dumb, man. No more. Evaluate these talents properly. Reggie Jackson, 2-year, $10 million. That's cool. 5-year for Reggie. I'm not going to kill that. But I'm looking at these names like these are the guys that are almost out the league, man. You ain't got but 5 more minutes. Kid you not. Y'all ain't proved nothing, but y'all making all this money. Eating up all the cap, and the rest of the talent ain't on the team developing worth a damn because you want to eat up all the damn cap. No. Enough. There's going to be a voice out here talking against that. We ain't doing that. Everything the Houston Rockets just did is bogus. Everything. All of it. If you think it's any good, I feel sorry for you. Don't put any money on that. That's what I tell you. So, that's what I got to say, man. BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.